Tēnā tātou katoa, good evening. A former resident of Gloriavale has given a damning assessment of life in the commune, recalling what they called the creepy and aggressive behaviour of the leaders and fearing for his daughter's safety.
Isaac Pilgrim was giving evidence at the employment court, where the judges were told of women being forced to work and being expected to have children. Investigations correspondent Michael Mora has the story.
Isaac Pilgrim's story is one of being controlled and living in fear. He was perpetually worried about his daughter, saying leaders would interact with girls in the kitchen and laundry under the guise that they were spiritually guiding them.
It was a bit creepy to me, very creepy. The leadership are allowed to touch the girls, anyone they want. By anyone, I mean particularly the single girls. They would be talking to them, giving them cuddles.
But questioning the leaders would result in punishment. The current residents who have come to court to observe proceedings appear happy and untroubled, and so do the male leaders who are chaperoning them back and forth. But inside court, leaders were portrayed as aggressive, frightening and domineering. To disobey them, according to Pilgrim, would result in a prolonged telling off.
Anyone who was saying anything in disagreement with the leaders was just totally destroyed.
But it wasn't just his daughter he was worried about. When giving birth to their second son, his wife lost a lot of blood while at hospital. He used $60 on the Gloriavale FPOS card to buy her some special food, but was told off on return.
I felt that money mattered more than the life of my wife. I felt like all I cared about was my wife pumping out more and more kids so that they could collect more and more money from the government.
His daughter, Serenity Pilgrim, was told to cook carrots for the 600 residents as a 14-year-old. But one night, she made a mistake.
I was made to stand up at the dinner table that evening and publicly apologise in front of 600 people for overcooking the carrots at 14.
So that was public shaming in your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Public humiliation, a form of control.
Information verified by former resident Pearl Valla, who witnessed another girl publicly apologise.
She was just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing.
In her testimony, Pearl Valla spoke of being forced to work, saying she didn't like working at the childcare centre, but was ordered to by leader Howard Temple.
I remember Howard Temple coming in and blowing me up because I didn't want to work in the centre, and I had to work in the centre as punishment until I liked it.
But partway through, proceedings were interrupted.
Excuse me, Your Honour, I heard some people repeating what I said, scoffing at me, and it was very disturbing.
Despite the interjections from the public gallery, the theme of this case has become clear. It's about control and forced work, and deciding whether that work was done by women at Gloriavale who were employees or volunteers.
Michael joins us now from Christchurch. Kia ora, Michael. You've heard it alleged in court that the leaders used a very specific threat to control residents.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. Isaac Pilgrim spoke of how from a young age you were taught that if you disobeyed the leaders or went against what they preached, that you would end up going to hell, and this terrified him. He also spoke of these late-night meetings with the leaders where he says he was criticised and harassed so intensely that he would end up in tears. And he says the purpose of these meetings was obvious. It was to break people. And he says it was because of this poor treatment of him and his family that ultimately led him and his family to leave Gloriavale in 2018.
Investigations correspondent Michael Mora. Tēnā koe.